to Rockin' Kentucky Blue, the podcast where we are serious about our Cats. Join two card-carrying Blue Rockin' members of the Big Blue Nation as they keep you up to date on the latest happenings of the University of Kentucky Wildcats. Here are your hosts, one calm member of the sports media, Michelle Mamba Brown, and one crazy fan, Jay Hayes.
Welcome to Rockin' Kentucky Blue, episode 51. We're golden plus one.
Yeah, and we've flipped.
Well, we flipped last week.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get back.
I think the greatest meme I saw this week was the one that says 2021 came in there like previously on 2020.
Yeah, I mean, we were all hoping. And
well, anybody that thought just because it changed to 2021, it was magically going to be like totally different, they're like really not smart people. Yeah, because 2020 didn't start going real bad for at least a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, when it started, it picked up steam and kept on going. But when you get that far down in the mud pit, it's going to take you a while to get back out. But yeah, I mean, I could celebrate last week or earlier this week because I kicked yours and Mike DeCourcy's butt.
Oh yeah, you did. You did. I was all
for your chest about how smart y'all were.
But I did say, Kentucky fans, if you're the ones that go roll Tide, then do it the next night when Kentucky plays Alabama.
I never say roll Tide. I'll just say
there are Kentucky fans that do that.
Well, there's also Kentucky fans that burn their apparel and think that does something.
Yeah, that's true. But I was for Ohio State. Still, I can't root for Alabama. I just don't like Alabama.
Well, that's okay. I can't root for Ohio State because I just don't like Ohio State.
But, when I pick, I don't use my head. So there's that. I never use my head when I pick. So.
Well, I know that. That's kind of raises an interesting topic because I believe there are some sports shows. I use the term lightly compared to, considering their content or considering, well, I won't go for any further than that. But they have this, I don't think they understand fandom. When you're a fan, you can have, like you and I can have a conversation. And when we played Alabama in football, offline, do I think we're going to win? Probably not.
Right.
I have to apologize. I've suddenly got this. I have no idea where the frog came from, but he needs to get out of my throat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but
the thing was, do I think we're going to win? Probably not. Do I think we can win? Absolutely.
That's why you play them. That's why you play the game.
I mean, and how many times were we? I think about the whole 2014 NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
It was like the selection committee lined it up so. Hope you can edit all those out.
I will.
I can't help it here.
But yeah, I picked the Cats to win 10 games this year, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's crazy." Of course it is. You think I don't know that? Okay, but still rooting for my team and just doing something different out of the norm and saying, "Hey, root for my team," because I am a fan.
It's like when I fill out brackets for March Madness.
Right.
Every bracket I have ever filled out since the beginning of time of filling out brackets, my champion is always Kentucky.
Yeah, you always have that.
Because I cannot choose against the Cats. I cannot do it. I've tried. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, you're not using your head.
But it's I'm using my fandom.
Right.
And for anybody to criticize, if I'm making a pick and they want to criticize me because I picked as a fan, what the blue blazes doesn't matter.
Right.
I mean, well, I am with the media, therefore I must tell you what to expect. Really? Did most of y'all tell us to expect to get our butts kicked in Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I know is people were saying, media people were saying, Ohio State was going to get embarrassed by Clemson.
Well,
I
maybe
guess
about Clemson,
that
but
wasn't a pick with their head. I don't know, but you root for who you want to win. And I chose to root for Ohio State. I lost. You picked Alabama. You won. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it wasn't like I was like, oh, Ohio State's going to kill Alabama. And no.
Yes, but you also did not say Ohio State won't let Alabama kill them.
Yeah, I didn't say that either. But I made a prediction score for that.
You said Ohio State 41-35.
Right. What was the point spread was 8.5.
Did you cover?
I mean, no, but I'm saying it's it wasn't out of the question. The Vegas guys, they normally pick pretty close. So I mean, it wasn't like if you really picked Ohio State, you were like
the whole thing.
Insane.
If Vegas was perfect, then everybody would go with Vegas picks and everybody would be making moderate amounts of money, which isn't much.
Vegas makes the money.
There you go. They're not infallible. I picked Bama to win 45-38. So I gave Ohio State way too much credit. But I guess what I did not take into consideration is that Bama would just rip their soul out of their bodies by the end of the third quarter, because the second half is when Ohio State typically puts it together and they make their halftime adjustments, and then they come out and it's like they rock you back on your heels and kind of take you out of your game. I mean, obviously they were not perfect at doing that, but that's their typical thing. So when we got through the third quarter, I was very gracious. I didn't do what you would do. I didn't get on Twitter and go, "You're off quiet, Jay."
Well, I only do that towards some people. If you notice, I only do that to some people. To the people I think deserve and it's not like in a hateful way. It's in a fun way, but I think they deserve that, whatever you call it. But yeah.
You've done that to me. How did I deserve it?
In a fun way, because I'm always wrong.
But you included me with the people that.
No, your tweet I added you first because I wanted you to be in the conversation and have some fun as well, but you didn't want no part of this. You didn't want no smoke.
I typically don't.
let me say you were dead on. You were dead on right. And like Scott say, bow, Jay, bow. Okay, she was right. I was wrong. I picked Ohio State, and Alabama came out and just put on a clinic.
You don't have to like Alabama to appreciate what the heck Nick Saban is doing with that team.
Yeah, big stuff. I don't like Alabama.
I mean,
you can't deny, like you say, you can't deny that.
You can't. It's like for so many years, I could not stand the Patriots. Well, I guess there's some things I could, because they did cheat. So there were, but they also, they did have some superior playmakers. You can't, you can't deny that they had some talent that could do things, deflated balls or not.
Yeah.
They could do stuff. But
I'd like to say too, the people I add a lot and give a lot of hell to, it, a lot of podcasters, a lot of media. But notice this: I'm always retweeting their stuff, their podcasts. I'm always giving them love. So it's not a hate thing. So sometimes it gets twisted on social media. It's not a really hate thing.
And they never retweet our stuff.
Oh yeah, you'll never find it. But me, just who I am, I got nothing but love to give. So I retweet, share all their stuff, and it's not reciprocated, but it is what it is.
You can sleep at night.
Yeah.
I used to say that about me for years when I actually wasn't sleeping at night, but it had nothing to do with my conduct. It had to do that I just couldn't sleep at night.
Right.
But anyway, like I said, we flipped. We've absolutely flipped. Last week we came rolling in here. Women were riding a nice win streak. Had 2 big wins back to back. Basketball cats back together, man. We were rolling 2 in a row when we had the show. They had their 3rd in a row. We were just. We had Mike DeCourcy on the show.
Yeah, we were riding high.
And then the women lost.
Yeah.
Then the women lost again.
Yeah. But let me say though, 2 out of 4 games in the top 12, that's not shabby by any means. You know what I'm saying? I know it's still 2 losses, but
yeah, I'm one of them, South Carolina, and we were so in that game.
Yeah, that was a good game. Now the Texas A&M game, we lost by 17. They had a chance to win that game as well.
Well, they were up early, and then just like the 3rd quarter, they came out and nothing was as it should have been.
Yeah.
So anyway. But like I said, the thing that's so frustrating, I've been at a couple of South Carolina games in recent years, and we just can't get over that hump since Dawn Staley got. And I have to tell you, Dawn Staley scares me. She scares me a lot.
Why?
You ever watch her on the sidelines?
Yeah, I mean, she does her thing.
Okay, think about Frank Martin. Does Frank Martin kind of scare you when you see him on the sidelines? Yeah. Apparently, if you go to South Carolina, you lose your ever-loving mind, and that's all I can say. I mean, they're like ready to explode, and I'm afraid they're going to explode on me because I'm like close enough to them, and I could get burned. Yeah. But it's frightening to watch them. I mean, like, I remember one game in Memorial, and where the media seats were at that time, we're down at the visitors' bench end. And 2 players missed an assignment. And Kentucky had actually taken the lead. This was like in the 3rd quarter. Another one of those games we just get up there and get within 2 points and can't win.
Right.
But 2 of her players had missed assignments, and she screamed. And I can tell it was a literal scream because I was not 40 feet away from her for her timeout. And they come over to the bench, and her eyes, I mean, you would have thought it was cartoon, I swear. They bugged out to hear, "What do you think you are doing?"
Yeah.
I just sent out a tweet with the score update.
Wow.
She's scary. But we at least, the women lost to their second loss was to a very worthy opponent, but it's still.
Yeah. Both of the losses were to teams in the top 12. So
yeah. I mean, we can't. The SEC, much like football, it's where women's basketball. That's the toughest conference to play in. Every win you get in conference is gravy almost. I mean, it's. So we got through that. We did get good news yesterday.
What was that?
Chris Rodriguez is coming back.
Oh, that is very good news. Yes.
I mean, there's with the week of.
But I mean, like it is good news, and I saw it but I never thought he was gone. Like, so it was like, okay.
Well, except, so many, with the way they just kept putting him up here and up here and up here and up here, you're thinking he might think, I'm good enough, I can go on and do it.
Right. And I saw where Nick Scalzo, we said that he was gone and put his name. Well, evidently he's not leaving. Stoops held his a scholarship, and so he's coming back. I guess that's the latest news.
Well, here we go. I got a trivia question for you.
Okay.
Which Kentucky football player ended their career 2017 as the program's career scoring leader? 359 points they scored in their career.
Austin McGinnis.
There you go. Just takes a second. That was cool because when Austin was a freshman, they had a spring game one year. It was when they were doing stadium renovations, I think.
Yeah.
So they had the spring game or some practice. Maybe it wasn't the spring game. I guess it could have been some type of practice, but it was open to the public. And they had that in the old practice field. So it was out there by the baseball field.
Yeah. Did you think I was going to get that?
I thought like you did.
Oh, man, I hope he gets this. If he doesn't get this. Right.
It kind of was like, it's only 2017.
And when I heard, I was like, oh, thank God, it's not a hard one. That was a pretty easy one. So
I could have made it. I could have asked you the soccer question last week, but who had the most assists on the soccer?
Yeah, I'm not getting that.
But anyway, before Austin's freshman year, they had that practice. I remember we parked by the baseball stadium and people were walking around to get to the practice field. Well, a group of friends I was with, we got there super early and we had, because I think it started like 11 o'clock, but we had brought donuts and orange juice and we kind of had a little mini tailgate thing. And this one couple came by and they said, y'all even tailgate for practice? And we kind of laughed and said, well, it was a beautiful spring day. And it was one of those times you actually got to stand on the field with the players and watch them that way.
Yeah.
Except Matt Elam kept getting in front of me. I mean, he was a big boy.
Yeah.
I had to keep ducking around him. And I heard this one girl said, how come everybody's last name is Wilson? Because they had their equipment. Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Oh,
and she's
man.
like, I can't believe it. She goes, that's 15 people named Wilson I've seen already. No.
Was that a media person?
No.
Oh, because
But it was somebody that dated a media person. That was the scary part.
I think it would be.
But anyhow, this nice when they said that, and we said, well, you fan, but we saw their car pull up, and it wasn't local plates, and we said, I'm not sure that you're fans or maybe parents, and they said, we're the mom and dad of Austin McGinnis, your new kicker. You're going to love him. And I said, well, I'm going to take your word for it, and he will become my favorite kicker of all time right here and now. And they chuckled, and he became my favorite kicker. So just
and a lot of Big Blue Nations. I mean, you say that, and they're like, oh, man, I remember when he did this or,
Well, and every time you see an NFL game, some game where they blow a chippy and then they release their kicker the next day, you'll see 20 people from the BBM, like sending that team.
I know a kicker. Yeah.
He finally did get signed, didn't he?
Yeah, I believe so with the Rams. I think he was cut by the Rams and then picked back up by the Rams. It was a situation which, by the way, plays my Packers this weekend. So
I think like last year or the year before he got picked up briefly by the Patriots.
I'm not for sure.
It might have been like in camp or something.
Right.
But I'm thinking, why wouldn't you keep him? Can you not tell? But people are stupid, which brings me to my next point. might bring you to your next point.
Okay.
So at the Florida game, played the national anthem. The players all took a knee. We know why.
Yeah.
This is racial inequality. This is kind of, it continues on because nobody has done much of anything to address police brutality.
Yeah.
Especially as it applies to police brutality against African Americans.
Yep.
We had the nation's capital under siege this week. All these people talking about, and this is the whole lot of the crowd that doesn't like kneeling.
Yeah.
Are wrapping themselves in flags and breaking out the windows of the Capitol.
Yeah. Ain't never donated the first dollar to vet.
Took a flag and beat the crap out of a police officer.
Yeah.
Just comply with what the police say. That's what they told all the African Americans, all this.
Right.
If you would just comply, they wouldn't have to beat you.
Right. Right. It's double standard.
So naturally, and we knew it was coming. We knew that because it's interesting because when football players took that one afternoon to march with and join the Black Lives Matter protest, one day,
right.
Well, I'm done with them.
Right. And a lot of these people are going, well, I support our troops. And if you're not, wasn't against our troops. I mean, has everybody forgotten who Nate Boyer is? The Green Beret that backed Colin Kaepernick and said, that's not disrespectful. This is for a reason. Like, I don't.
Here's the whole thing. When the riots broke out last summer, why don't you do peaceful protest?
Right.
Well, you didn't like that either.
Yep.
Colin Kaepernick did the most peaceful protest in the world. Well, this isn't the place for it. Tell us, where is the place?
Right.
Where
I salute these young men for coming together and doing it.
And did they know how many of the players have immediate family members that are active military?
Yeah. Cal said over half of this team has military in their family. They're not disrespecting the military.
And I want to tell you what, and I know, I can't remember who, I think it was Big Blue Express, Randy from Big Blue Express, who said, he had covered over 100 basketball games, and he said he could tell you how many people he'd seen, still going to get concessions, chit-chatting this, that, and the other in the concourse when the anthem's being played. I hear, and everybody said, well, that had to be the minority because every time I'm there, everybody's so respectful. That's a bunch of crap.
Right. Right. Even when you're watching at home, you don't stand up.
Yeah, like when it comes on, do you stop this conversation? See, that's the national anthem. Better stand up, don't eat.
Right.
Get that. I mean, just because you're not there personally, there it is. You're listening.
Right.
Oh, no, that's
It doesn't mean you're against the military or this country,
And listen, how many military people said that's the right I fought for.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And the other thing that
I don't think it's. I mean, I believe that's their excuse. Oh, well, I support my military. I don't think that's the real excuse. Is what they're really saying. I don't believe that is what they're saying.
It's not.
Else. It's a lie. Yeah.
And they're saying, well, they should respect their country. How about their country respect them?
Right.
They're not asking you to go out and kill white people. They're asking you to not kill them like you don't kill white people.
Right.
I mean, it's not really that large of a request.
Right.
And to sit there and say that, oh, well, Donald Trump's giving black people more opportunities they've ever had in their life. Really? Really? I won't go down that road because that's a slippery slope, but I can tell you that anything that positive that was done, there was a reason, and it wasn't a good one.
Right. A lot of backlash from this. I mean,
and it was predictable because they got so mad over that one Black Lives Matter video that they spent maybe 30, 40 minutes working on.
Yeah.
And they I'm done.
Missed the whole message.
They were back.
Missed the whole message. But I mean, there was so much backlash, and it's even spilled over into Cal.
Well,
It
they
was
were
the
already
players,
pissed off at him.
and now it's Cal, and now Yahoo Sports comes out and says, Cal, retracted, and it's like maybe this wasn't a good time. And he said that's a quote, but I think it was flipped, for their story, and not what he really meant. They made it sound like, that he went back and said, well, maybe this isn't the good time to be doing, and made him sound like the bad guy. And might I add that article was written by Jason Owens, North Carolina graduate that blogs for Yahoo Sports.
Yeah.
So, I mean, make it what you want to, like the media does. They take these stories, and you, even Kentucky media, they do this. You can go on Twitter, Facebook, any social media right now, and just look at the headlines.
And here's another thing. They did not play the anthem on TV.
What was that?
I don't recall the anthem being played, being televised. That was done during commercial, was it not? Unless I miss, I mean, but
yeah, it was. It wasn't
so
televised.
nobody would have known about it if it were not about the media. Look what they did.
Right.
And then here comes the little predictable. I got to pick on a different county here. Let's pick on Knox County because they've been especially stupid about this.
Laurel County
has too. Well, Knox County has too. Let's make we don't want to not give Knox County their due credit.
Right.
But in Laurel, here we go. Well, they embarrassed the University of Kentucky because there they are on television. Disrespect. No, wasn't on television, dude.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, most of y'all didn't know anything about it until after the game.
Yeah.
And maybe if you kept your yap shut, the rest of the world still wouldn't. But no, y'all had to go into it and make it a thing about why you hate Cal.
Right. Now, I mean, in the same token, I applaud the media for putting this out because it needs to be out that these kids stood up.
That was the whole point. They have a platform.
Right. And came together for a cause, and so I applaud. But in the same breath, I'm like, these article headlines are just ridiculous. I mean, it's call it what it is, clickbait. I mean, that's what it is. And like I said before, and I said again, I know you say I hate the media. They do it to themselves. I mean, they keep showing themselves who they truly are with negativity every day in and day out. And it fuels a lot of these fans because most of these fans only read the headlines, and these guys know that.
I would like to direct these people to go to CameronMillsRadio.com where you will not find negativity and clickbait articles. You will find facts and reporting. That's what you get. And some pretty daggone good pictures. Well, actually, we don't get. Everybody gets the same pictures because nobody's allowed to be a photographer this year.
Well, I to get off subject here, but I saw a picture of him and his new wife, and evidently his date night, the first date night, I guess they went out and
that was New Year's Eve, and there was a bomb threat.
So they didn't get to enjoy. And then the next one was a flat tire or something. So I didn't see how the third one turned out. Hopefully,
they said the third one was fine, but there's usually not very much trouble at McDonald's.
Right. Still good.
I don't know where
hopefully,
it was McDonald's, but that's
right.
What I
So positivity and good vibes their way for the next outing that they get to.
Well, when you've already got to have date nights and you've only been married,
that's a good way to start off, though. Really, it is. But
anyhow, but like you said, that's what you get at Cameron Mills Radio. You get unbiased, straightforward reporting. There's not, yes, they reported that the players took a knee. Did they make commentary on it? No, they didn't.
Right.
Now, some of the writers have made tweets with their opinions. And my opinion is, if you don't understand what they're kneeling about now, it's either A, because you're being willfully ignorant and you don't want to know.
Yeah.
Or B, you know and you hate it.
Yeah. You have a different agenda. And keeping on this theme, I mean, with Cal, what do you think?
He's abandoned his players.
Yeah, what do you think about that article that came out with Yahoo Sports and this North Carolina graduate who wrote it to make it sound like, because Cal did say maybe this wasn't a good time for it. He did say, but the media has a way of twisting these things.
If they're going to report on it, Cal kneeled with them.
Yeah.
And he said, if it's important for you all, it's important for me.
Yeah.
He's been consistent with that his entire time. So this guy is trying to make a name for himself.
Yeah.
But to say that Cal never had his players back is such. It took everything I could to read the entire article. I mean, I had to go away. I had to come back and read it in phases because I could not stomach reading it straight through beginning to end, because there was so much. You can take some quotes that are true, but as my pastor says all the time, context is everything.
Yeah.
And this got the context right out the window.
Yeah, it's one of the things about journalism that I hate is you could take someone's words and totally flip it, even though that's that person's words, and like you said, taken out of context. But yeah, so and I saw that, I was like, who is that written? Oh, North Carolina graduate. Oh, okay, I get it.
Didn't De'Aaron Fox have something to say about all this?
Well, no, he didn't comment on this. He was recently on what was the podcast is All the Smoke podcast with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson.
Gee, I can't believe that you would look for a podcast that was titled All the Smoke.
Yeah, of course. Now, see, it's weird because I'm subscribed to this podcast and I saw the notification, and before I could get off work and read it, of course, there were people were talking about it. A couple of Kentucky sports outlets had articles already on it. I finally watched it, and De'Aaron Fox had a lot to say. But check this comment out by De'Aaron Fox on All the Smoke podcast.
Although it was only 1 year, what was that Kentucky experience like and play for Coach Cal?
Man, it was great, yo. Like, I love Cal. I still talk to Cal to this day. And I mean, he really he lets you rock. That's why he wants guards like John and myself and B Knight, Tyler Eulis. The way that he coaches it's like absolute freedom. We go out there, he'll put X's and O's, but at the end of the day, everything's going to end up in a pick and roll or isolation. That's what the NBA is too.
Right.
So, when he's able to get those guys, I mean, you find success. Cal couldn't give a damn about, winning college basketball games. If he's getting guys who he knows he can end up developing into NBA players, you automatically going to win 30 games a year just from that alone.
Got those caliber.
So that's what I love. That's what I loved. Yeah. You came in, you earned everything. He made you work, and shit. At the end of the day, I was a top 5 pick. Bam and Malik were lottery picks, and that's all you could ask for. We lost in the Elite Eight. Obviously, we was mad as hell, but that wasn't gonna make me stay. So we lost by a buzzer beater. Cal brings us in about 20 minutes after. He said, all of y'all are gone. He brought us all in there. He said, yo, y'all are done. Y'all not coming back. If y'all need us, y'all got our numbers. We'll help y'all with it, whatever, but y'all not playing another college basketball game.
That was you, Bam, and who else? Who was the third?
Malik
Monk,
yeah. Yep. I said, Cal, you ain't got to tell me twice, nigga. I wasn't coming back anyways.
So, yeah, and it was a topic of the day. What do you think? I mean, there were some things said before that about his recruitment and where he took, where he went. He went to Louisville, and his mom was like, "You're not going there." It was during the stripper thing, and they joked about that, but it was a pretty good episode. But that's what he said. I love Cal.
And of course, you know what a couple of people in Kentucky media did, especially one prominent place, the one who keeps insisting that Cal owes the world, or at least Al owes one radio host an apology.
Yeah.
They, of course, do what they do so well. Take a little tidbit and make the thing. Fox said Cal didn't care if he ever won a college basketball game.
Right. And it's back to what I was saying earlier.
Context.
Headline.
Context.
So when you see that headline, I don't forget Cal. You know, that's your
people that posted the link to the story in some UK groups. They posted it just with the headline.
Yeah.
And immediately, well, that's how come I'm done with him. Do you know what the story is? Do you know what the rest of that quote was?
Right.
No, you don't.
Yeah. And you know that I've called people out before. For instance, you know, when Cal said I was having fun coaching because I had no distraction. That was part of that sentence as well. But all they said was, well, I'm glad Cal is having fun coaching, you know, because we were losing. And that's all that was said. And I call people out for doing this. Don't do that. Give the whole story. Don't make it your little thing where you can get everybody gassed up on negativity and against the Kentucky program. That's what the media does. And I'm here to tell you, I will call you out. That's what I do. I will call you out for that.
Like I said, like Big Blue Express, I love what Randy does. Randy's a lot like Cameron Mills. He will report what he sees. He reports what he knows. He doesn't try to tell you how to feel about it.
Right.
And we all know what that one radio show is all about. And to sit there and say that, you know, like, I'm sorry, did Dante Allen save us for Alabama?
Right.
And if Cal was wrong about Dante, then maybe these people thinking he needs an apology, man, maybe y'all were wrong about BJ Boston.
Yeah.
Saw him at the Florida game. It's just like what Mike DeCourcy was talking about last week. It's starting to click for him.
Yeah.
He's got a ways to go, but it's starting to click. And he said, when it all clicks, you better watch out.
Yeah. Now, critiquing players, and nothing is wrong with that. And because a lot of people try to turn it around. Well, I said this. Okay. You know, and I will say this, most of these Kentucky media are great writers, right? Great stuff. But when you're on that BS, I will call you out. I mean, you're not above getting called out, regardless if you're great at writing or what. You'll get called out when you fall into that negativity and say some crap that just is absurd. But it's nuts, man. Right now, it's a cluster. Right now,
there's a whole bunch of people that are really filled with, I mean, and I get it, like the whole political climate across the country. It's a tough time right now. It's a really tough time. I get it. Got this whole pandemic. People have been locked down. Maybe they got some financial issues. I get it. There's a lot of reasons to be on edge about a lot of things. But when you're sitting here and you choose to either be just, I guess no other word to put it, but just hateful.
Yeah.
Hateful to a bunch of teenagers because how they play ball or don't play ball. And did anybody notice that when they were going through a 6-game losing streak, not one peep from anybody anywhere, no sources, according, close to the program, or I'm hearing nothing about any kind of dissent between the players, No arguing between the players. Nobody mad because you got the minutes, I didn't get them. I mean, we know Cameron Fletcher had his little bit, but the rest of that, did you hear anything negative coming from that program? Not a word. Did anybody write a big article about with all the reasons to?
Yeah.
Every single reason in the world to be at each other's throats, to be finger pointing, to be blaming for the failures. It wasn't happening. And when that's not happening with a team this young, are you kidding me?
Right. Negativity sells. They know that. But I think, that's why we do what we do. We're different, and, I get called out all the time like, oh, you're crazy. Yeah, I'm a crazy Kentucky fan, cheering my team on, trying to speak life into death, you know what I'm saying, so to speak. That's what I do. I cheer my team on.
And guess what? If you're pissed off, I mean, first off, somebody when you get a legislator that wants to when he brings it, the guy saying keep politics out of sports brought sports into politics. And crying because it was just so distraught over what the Cats did to him. You beat the crap out of your brother. Should be facing some legal problems, and you're crying on the Senate floor because the Cats they kneeled on the floor. And then the Laurel County idiots. Let's talk about Mutt and Jeff.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, you want all the smoke. Sometimes I can bring it.
Hey, I know. That's what I like. I mean, it's one thing being positive, and I'd like to say, don't take my kindness for weakness, because I go in. I would definitely go in. If you're on some wrong stuff, I'm going to call you out.
Here you go. Want to call me Mama June? Let me sit my fat ass on you.
People are wild, man. I mean, people are wild.
Well, he, like I said, that dude, he got out of the water real quick, man. He took that comment and left. But Mutt and Jeff, meanwhile, down in Laurel County with Mutt and Jeff.
Yeah.
They want to make this, and this is a sheriff.
Yeah. Which is even, what? Wow.
Well, I mean, like what we saw this week, like the guy that threw the fire extinguisher to hit the cops. Florida firefighter. Yeah, way to go with the boys in blue, man. You all about that. But okay, back to the adventures of Mutt and Jeff. Who they're talking about how them Wildcats had the audacity to take a knee at the end and embarrass the host. They embarrassed me as a citizen, and I'm going to show them what I'm going to do about it. This is my 2012 shirt.
Yeah.
Here's my garbage can.
That I spent money on. My money.
Yeah.
I'm going to burn
money on this shirt. And probably from one of those little pop-up things that didn't even have licensed merchandise, so Kentucky didn't get any bit of it anyway. Burns it. And I'm thinking, as a sheriff, I bet people you serve, I bet you some of them struggling in a big way in this pandemic. Yeah. I'll bet you there are kids, teenagers, even fat old guys like you, Sheriff, that could use another shirt or two because they can't afford clothes. Why you burnt? Number one, the money was already spent. So you're not hurting the program by burning a shirt you've had for 10 years. Let's get clear on that. Number two, I can promise you Mitch Barnhart wouldn't care if you burned every one of your shirts and all your shoes.
Right.
But like me, I prefer that you give them to somebody that need them.
Yeah.
If you're all about not embarrassing the Commonwealth.
Right. They had some shirts that they wanted to give out, some raggedy ass shirts that a NASCAR driver wouldn't wear.
I saw those.
That gawky shirt. I mean, come on now. Like these guys, and then they want to defund the University of Kentucky, which is no.
Well, first off,
that's not it.
Yeah, they're wanting to go after the university, and they're not understanding that the athletics department doesn't use one penny of the university's money. They don't use one penny of tax dollars.
It's
And I'm betting over the years, maybe you get a shirt a year. So your contribution to everything, if you've been a fan for 50 years, and then I bought a shirt, I did that. Yeah, you're all in for about $50.
yeah.
Let's go see. Let's go find out. The only people like is Joe Kraft. Is he highly offended by it? That's who that might get my attention.
Right.
Is he going to go burn down the Joe Kraft Center?
Instead of everyone complaining and bitching, how about lend a hand to your neighbor? Help your neighbors out. Those vets that you love so much. How about helping them out?
Yeah, you think they have been? Yeah, that they were so disrespectful. How many of them have you gone to check on?
Yeah,
how many of them have you looked at it, gone to a veteran center? You need somebody to get meals here.
Yeah, take that energy and help.
Because I can promise you. Well, I'm calling Mitch Barnhart. Oh, wow. That's original idea.
Yeah.
Don't think Mitch really cares.
Yeah, the only thing he cares about is checkerboard. So.
And he ain't going to talk to you about that.
And he's not talking about that either. So, anyway, it's crazy right now. So, spread some positivity, some love,
That's the best thing in the world. Like really, if you're worried about, and here's another thing I don't understand. Keep the politics out of it. Why? Who decided that the national anthem needed to be played before every ball game? Why did we even do that?
I've wondered that. I don't know.
Like to me, that's why you're asking them to keep politics out when politics inserted themselves into sports,
right?
So I don't understand that, and I also find it equally disrespectful when you I think it was NBA All-Star last year. I forget who that singer was, but it was one of the most painful renditions of the national anthem I've ever heard. I mean, the players
was it Fergie?
Could have been. It was awful. It was.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And John Wong and I talked about this after one game last year before. So you're a veteran, and actually, the article he wrote was pretty. It was a lot better than the things he says online. It was actually very respectful of what the players did.
Right. I saw the article.
Yeah, it was an excellent article. And I had that conversation with him. I said, as a vet, and he goes, as a vet, I don't agree with it. It's not my choice. But as a vet, I fought with my life to defend their right to do that.
Right.
All those MAGA people that had American flag hats, shirts, that boat rally when there was women in American flag bikini, that is actually a violation of the flag policy.
Yeah. They should take that stuff off.
They're disrespecting the flag. And like I said, the way they treated the flag during those protests and beating people with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Craziness.
There's ways to put that. So like I said, people that do bad renditions of the national anthem, I find that more disrespectful.
Right.
When people start screaming and hooping and hollering in the last 2 or 3 lines of the anthem when somebody's singing, how is that respectful?
I like that. That's what gets me pumped up. I like that part, especially when the singer is doing a really good job. But I understand what you're saying, but
you can't be there. It's okay to not listen. And you don't have your hand over your heart when you're saying, whoa, yeah, and clapping and screaming. You're not listening to the anthem at that point. You're just happy that the bitch hit the high note and it didn't hurt your ears too much. That's all you're saying. I know it. You know it. Let's call it a day. Wrap a bow around it.
Right.
Anyway.
Facts.
Facts.
But yeah, that's what it is. Back to Kentucky and Alabama. I didn't use my head in this one either because I had Kentucky winning.
I thought it would go down to the last minute, is what I thought.
Yeah, the last line that I saw on it was Kentucky 2.5, and that was by Sporting Line. What was I thinking? What was I thinking to even cheer Kentucky on? I should know better than that. I should know better to pick the Kentucky Wildcats to win.
Now, and I don't want anybody, trying to find an excuse, but I'm thinking that Ben Jordan passing away earlier that day.
Yeah. Big
weight. And how, well, all those people didn't play with him last year. Do you think he was like totally absent from the program?
Yeah.
He wasn't. That was his thing. He knew the managers. He knew the staff. He knew Keon Brooks. He knew Riley Welch.
Yeah, Dante Allen.
And he knew Dante. So he's got friends there.
Yeah.
So to think that he was not communicating with them, and nobody, I still haven't heard anything about cause of death.
I've heard rumors, and I'm not going into rumors.
Well, that's what I haven't heard official. I guess I should have said that because I'm not doing the rumor thing either.
No.
But it was very sudden.
Yeah. Very sad. 22 years old is just it's
and the
just
baseball
really
program's just devastated too. I mean, that was and I guess when Ben joined the team for practice, mostly practice, he did play in one game, I guess. He scored a point, didn't he?
I think so. And when I read that, I made a tweet back in December when Sarr and Jackson were
going to get Jordan back, help him out.
He got Nick Richards together.
Exactly.
Getting back on the practice squad, and that was my kind of joking way of, because that was Nick Richards' year and just so happens he had Ben Jordan in practice going against him, what I'm saying?
We had commented on it like, well, Ben Jordan came on to help him practice, and all of a sudden Nick Richards can catch the basketball.
Right. Right. And just saying Ben Jordan got Nick Richards together.
That was the whole thing. When Nick Richards had the ball, he could score.
Right.
Scoring was not his problem. Catching the ball, that was Nick's problem.
Right. I saw on Nick's Instagram too, man. He had some video of him and Ben like hitting baseballs in a batting cage, and it was super sad. And Nick was like, my heart's broke, He was going against the guy in practice, and they were doing stuff outside of basketball together. Super sad. It had me tore up. And I'm just really
saying, I think to not think that had zero impact.
Yeah.
You could, they should have wanted to go out and win it for him. Maybe if it had been the day before and they had actually had time to process this, you're talking 6-8 hours before you take to the court? That's not a lot of time. And if you haven't lost a friend, maybe you don't understand it. Well, who am I kidding? I've watched the Big Blue Nation for the last 4 weeks. They don't understand a whole lot of things.
Yeah. It was, and I tell you, I mean, hats off to Alabama. They put on a shooting clinic.
Now, of course, Cal should be fired because he doesn't recruit shooters.
Yeah.
I know he's recruited shooters over time. It's right now Cal can do nothing.
Right. And the media, let me just put this out there real quick. The big media that follows recruiting and tells you who's coming in. Go back. I suggest you go back and listen to them tell you how good of shooters these guys that we have right now were before they got to Kentucky. Listen to John Calipari tell you how these guys hit shot after shot in practices.
How Boston couldn't miss anything.
Yeah.
Couldn't miss a shot.
Hadn't carried over into the game yet.
Ask you. Money.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better.
And, and we got Clark kind of out right now. We can't seem to get everybody healthy at the same time. And Clark was one that was being consistent.
Yeah, yeah.
That hurts.
And Dante Allen can shoot the ball. And people put Dante, he can shoot. We need shooters. And you would be half right. Because regardless of what you say, Dante Allen right now is a liability on the floor. Yes, he can shoot. Yes, he brings the defense out, and that creates for us. I get that.
He's not as much of a liability as he was 4 weeks ago.
He's getting better, but he's still a liability. He got the ball taken from him twice. He had, 5 or 6 turnovers, and a lot of them did have turnovers. He doesn't put the ball on the floor. He doesn't get open. He's a set shooter, and I'm listening to these announcers going, oh, he's quick draw. He catch and shoot. No, he doesn't that. He's a set shooter. The only time that he's going to shoot is when he's open. That's it.
Well, let's talk. We got one more little thing, which is perfect because we're at that time of the show where it's almost over.
Yeah.
It became official today.
What?
Well, there was a player that signed with West Virginia and played with them that had considered Kentucky.
Yes. Oscar Tshiebwe. And that's how you pronounce his name. Yeah. Tshiebwe.
But I can pronounce it, but don't ask me I know it's TSIW.
Why are you looking at me? You know, I'm horrible at spelling.
I thought maybe you had it up on your screen.
No, I just know how to pronounce his name.
I know it starts with TSIW, which it's kind of like Shashevsky. You know, you're like 9 letters into his name before you have the first S. So and there's not an H. So where do they come up with
Yeah, probably the best transfer that's going to be out there.
And you're not allowed to call him Big O. There was only one Big O.
I think he likes that name. I think he
might like it, but I think, going to have to fight a lot of people that know that name is Oscar Robertson.
Yeah.
That's the Big O.
Yeah. But that could be a compliment, too. That could be a compliment. Some of those older guys like that.
Could be, but you're going to have to live up to it, buddy.
Oh, yeah. And this kid was, like a lot of people thought that he was initially going to go to Kentucky and ended up going to West Virginia. Bob Huggins, regardless, wasn't very happy. He had some words to say about Oscar leaving West Virginia, said there were some outside influences involved.
But I take that to be the crew. I don't think it was Kentucky that convinced him to transfer. Right. I think once they heard he was, you interested? Fine, we'll talk to you.
Right.
But I think when you're talking outside influences, a lot of times you're talking about those people, their little entourages.
Yeah.
And you're not getting the right exposure here at West Virginia, or you're not going to do this. And look what happens to everybody at Kentucky. Now, man, we told you.
Yeah.
That's I took it more there because I'm pretty sure that Huggins and Cal get along pretty good.
Yeah, they're like really good friends.
And
I don't think Huggins' comments were toward Cal either. I don't. He said outside influences. I don't think it was directed at Cal.
Of course, everybody that's so down on Cal right now, there was plenty of them that went right. Well, he needs to stop trying to cheat.
Yeah.
I mean, really, my brains have just wanted to fall out my ear for the stuff that's been said. Which reminds me, it's time for my weekly reminder. Don't read the comments.
Don't read the comments. Just don't do it. Sometimes anyway, I read the comments.
Well, obviously I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't know to tell you not to do it.
But yeah, and I'll say this. Well, I want all the smoke. I want all the smoke. That's 2021. Bring me the smoke. I don't care. Nah.
Well, let me send you down to Laurel County. You can have chit chat with Mutt and Jeff.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a chit chat, I could tell you. But
I did think you were actually going to choke when I referred to them as Mutt and Jeff.
Yeah. All joking aside, man, there's so much negativity out there, man. Let's be positive, man. Like, check on your neighbor, man. You know what I'm saying? Say what's up to a friend, man. Cheer somebody on, man. Like, you see somebody out there making a tape, a CD, you know, a rapper, country singer, whatever they're doing, they're coming up with new clothing. Cheer them on, man. Help them out. Retweet their stuff, man. Show some love. What happened to that? Like,
and in your hometown, there's got to be not the big chain. Well, the chain people you want to support because they're employing local people,
right?
But you got all your locally owned restaurants,
right?
Doing what they can to hang in there. Then make it a point once a week. You get a carry-out meal from them. Do something to make it better.
Yeah.
Because sitting here being a keyboard warrior and going to your garbage can and making videos of how mad you are at, personally, I think I'd be mad if, I'm not going to say that. No, Michelle, you're not going to talk about how ugly he was. His ugly came out from the inside, so I can comment on his ugly insides.
And don't forget to tip the bartender. I'll say that. And tip your waitress as well. So, I mean, just spread the love, positivity. Come on and cheer your team on. Do not pick with your head. Cheer your team on.
Which, by the way, the women, I think, had a game scheduled
tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was tonight. And I think it's going to be next Thursday now. I'm not for sure on that. They're not for sure on that. So,
do we have any picks coming up for the Cats?
We got Auburn this weekend at 2:00 on ESPN Saturday. I don't know, because I don't know I don't know how to pick. Do I pick with my head, or do I pick as a fan of my team that I love? I really don't know what to do, because I don't want, you know what? I do know what to do. Cats by 90. I'll hang up and listen. No, not Cats by 90. I'm going to say Kentucky wins by 6. 77-71.
Let's see. Auburn's got a little bit of a losing streak going.
They're starting to get better.
So, like I said, but you got a losing streak, so they're going to be a little bit more on the desperate side.
They're going to shoot threes. They're jacking it up.
I'm thinking that maybe Cal might have let Tony Barbie do a little bit review on the zone, because the 3-2 wasn't cutting it. They're much better with the 1-3-1.
Yeah.
I think that's much more suited to them.
And remember the Cal picture with Joby Hall.
Oh yeah, because he turned to play a 2-3.
No.
3-2?
Yeah, 1-3-1.
1-3-1. What's?
Yeah.
Somebody else must have commented about that. That
he said, Coach Hall's on me about.
I think that the guys were a little bit, or actually a whole lot, disappointed with themselves for falling back into some old habits.
Yeah, they were shook.
And I think that they're watching their coach be under fire again, because he really did take their side. And like I said, saying something wasn't the right time. He wasn't saying, no, it's not the right time. Anyway, I don't have to explain that. Good grief.
They're gonna twist it however they want.
If he thought it wasn't the right time, he would have told them in Florida, this isn't the right time.
Yeah.
Let's not do it today. I know you want to do it. Let's get together and think of another way to make your statement.
Yeah.
No. I say they're going to take this one. I say by 8 points. I'm going to be just a little more optimistic than you.
Okay.
And we know what happens with my predictions.
Hey.
Most of the time. And
Well, I don't use my head, so my predictions are usually wrong.
I don't really choose my head because I remember I was blasted by the same person. Oh, there you go. Your feelings. You're using your feelings. Well, you're using your stupid feelings. Your stupid feelings just happen to be negative stupid feelings.
Wow.
On January the 10th, 2019, which was just a mere 2 years ago, Kentucky women defeated number 13 Tennessee 73-71, and it was the first time the Cats had won in Knoxville in 5 years. It had been a while. It was just their fourth win overall. Fourth win in how many tries, Jay?
I don't know. I've already answered my question for today.
It was their fourth win in 27 tries.
Oh, I knew that. I did know that. No, I did not know that. But that's pretty cool. That's pretty good.
So my calendar's coming in handy. Nice little tidbits to throw in.
Also, I want to see, I think Terry Wilson's birthday. I think his sister tweeted that out. It could be old. I don't know. I just saw it.
Could be.
Happy birthday to him if it is. Happy birthday, Terry Wilson. Always, once a cat, always a cat. To me,
I don't have a. Back when they had the season never ends calendars, they had all the player birthdays, but I don't have a player's birthday.
It could be like super old, because Twitter does that.
Anyhow, it's another week. Days are getting longer, so you get a little bit more daylight. Not a lot. It's not a lot, but it's more than it was. And anytime we're moving anywhere forward, remind yourself in August, you didn't know if you would get any college basketball. And you swore on everything. I don't care how bad they play. Just give me basketball. Then they didn't perform like you wanted them to. And so then you became a little whiny bitch.
Wow. Face.
I'm tired of it.
Yeah, I know. Hey, but don't let that get you mad.
They're not saying. I'm just getting here because this is the only chance I have to tell them what I think.
Right.
About them.
Right.
My cats. I love my cats.
Right. Me too.
And we'll be back next week. When are we going to get Hoops? Have you contacted him?
I haven't contacted him yet because I got stuff going on with my knee. I don't know. I might be having knee surgery on Thursday, so I'm not for sure yet. Yeah, it's a crazy situation.
They would give you, typically they will give you at least a week's notice, if not more.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said it's a crazy situation. I'll tell you all about it. I'm not going to tell everybody else about it, but yeah.
Eventually, we're going to have Hoops Wise.
Yeah, eventually. I'm just trying to find the perfect time.
Now, you should stay in touch and let him know how come you haven't gotten in touch.
Yeah. Well, he told me to holler at him after the holidays.
And it's after the holidays. And so if you don't get in contact, he's going to think, he really didn't want me after all.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Anyway, take us out.
We're getting out and getting around a little bit. Well, Jay's hobbling.
I'm hobbling.
No sympathy. I've had 4 knee surgeries. Get back to me when you catch up, dude. No, seriously. Hoping you get that wrapped up soon. In the meantime, wherever we go, whatever we do,
we're always rocking Kentucky Blue.
Thanks for listening to the Rockin' Kentucky Blue podcast. You can find us on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, Radio Public, or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to stop by and leave us a rating and review. And tune in next time for another episode of Rockin' Kentucky Blue.